Princess Peach recently made a law stating that captures are illegal. However, seeing as she always gets kidnapped, she has since lifted that law. This means that Mario is now free to capture whatever he wants from around the world. So he has decided to go on a journey and take control of all 52 captures as fast as possible. Obviously, every capture is not available in one area, so we have to make our way through all the kingdoms to get this done. So starting off here in Cap Kingdom, Mario meets up with Cappy and he tells him he's gonna make himself very useful today. Making their way into Top Hat Tower, they're already able to make the first capture, which is the frog. Obviously, they then use the frog's hops to make their way up the tower super quickly, and once they were up there, their only choice was to take down Topper. But that's when the second capture appeared, the Spark Pylon. They transformed into a ball of electricity and set off to cascade to find even more captures. And right as they landed, they saw a bunch of captures right in front of them. First up was the Chain Chomp, which they could use to break this rock and grab the first Power Moon. Then running across the bridge and making their way over to the main area, they captured the Big Chomp, which is a different capture for some reason. Then ran over here to get the T-Rex. Then of course used him to get a nice dino skip to the boss arena. And once in said boss arena, captured the Gold Chomp 3 times to beat Madame Brood. A lot of the captures here felt very similar, but they were all unique, so that was quite a bit marked off the list. And now they had enough moons to travel off to Sand Kingdom. Surprisingly, considering the size of this place, it does not feature that many different captures. So Mario basically just made his way along the path and grabbed a few moons, and once he eventually made his way into the ruins, he was able to take control of the most prominent enemy here, that being the Bullet Bill. Using this guy was quite useful for getting the Lone Pillar Moon, so that was taken care of. But there actually is a capture here that is completely one of a kind. Of course, that is the cactus. So Mario made sure to stop by that guy and move it out of the way to grab the moon underneath. Then he could just fill up the rest of the moon list and leave this place. Now it was time for Lake Kingdom. Not too many moons are needed here, but a lot of captures can still be collected. For one thing, there's the zipper. Unzipping this wall is also really useful for a moon. And right after that, there's the Cheep Cheep in the water. Staying in this capture is also really useful because they can get almost every moon necessary, only ditching it right at the boss arena. Because as you know, Mario don't need no captures to beat Rango. So that was all the moons he needed, but there were still some more captures in this place. Before leaving, he took control of the binoculars, the Goombas up on the ledge, and since this sub-area was now opened up, he could run inside and capture the Lake Kingdom puzzle piece. Now he could warp out and set sail. Time for Wooded. First off, Mario did something he doesn't usually do and jumped right into deep woods. This is because this place housed a few obscure captures. There was the boulder and the tree, which thankfully does feature a moon underneath, and also the coin coffer. And once we get those 3 captures, that's all we need down here. Once back up in the main part of the kingdom, Mario grabbed a few moons on his way to the tunnel, and then opened up this gate to capture the Uproot on the other side, and also the Fire Bro right above. Of course, the Uproot is the most common capture in this kingdom, so that was used for a couple more moons. But then right after, Mario jumped over to this area, threw a rock into the Poison Piranha Plant's mouth, because that's the only way to capture that guy, and then took down the big Piranha Plant to grab the Story Moon. That was quite a few captures here they had already collected, and at this point, there were no new ones for quite a bit. All they had to do was use the Uproot to get to the top of this tower, and then defeated Spewart for that multi-moon. So 3 moons were still needed, and then they thought, why not also get 3 captures while they collect those? First up, they captured the tank to grab the moon behind the rock wall, headed over to the charging station to grab that moon, and went into one more sub-area. And it just so happened it was a mini rocket sub-area, so there's another one. And once inside the fog sub-area, they jumped over this way to capture the Paragoomba, and grabbed one more moon from a nut while they were at it. After moving on, they made a little stop in Cloud Kingdom for a Bowser fight, but there is nothing to be captured here, so whatever. But there's a couple of them in Lost. Right away, Mario made his way all the way to the top of the kingdom so he could capture Glydon, not to fly anywhere, just to mark that off the list. Then he collected a few quick moons around the area, captured the Tropical Wiggler right by Klepto, and that was all he needed. So so he collected the rest of the moons and powered up the Odyssey. Metro was interesting because it also just does not feature that many captures. Nighttime was especially tough because it just had stuff that Mario had already captured. This included the wires and the tank at the boss fight. But hey, defeating Mecha Wiggler was still better than doing some weird teleporting trick to skip the fight altogether. Anyway, now it was day Metro and the captures could begin. Mario rolled over this way to capture the man controlling the RC car, and of course got that moon because why not? Then he had to go over to talk to Pauline, but on his way over he captured the flinging poles on the ground, both to get that off the list and also because it made him run faster. So he met up with Pauline, talked to the 4 musicians, and when he was told he had to go into the sewer, he saw it as the perfect opportunity to also capture the manhole. That was all the captures Mario had to get right now, but he realized that Metro might be more important later on, so he decided to turn on the power and complete the festival as well. Now with all those moons, he could move on to snow. Mario saw absolutely nothing to capture out here in the blizzard, so he went into Shiveria and grabbed a few quick moons. And he didn't feel like going through the 4 rooms, so he just clipped through this wall and entered the race room early. The rooms up there were not important, but this one was because he could capture the Shiverian Racer. Since he was too scared to race, Mario decided he would stick around and win the race for him. The Shiverian wouldn't remember anything, but he still won. And also, Mario could take the multi-moon, and now the snow captures were opened up. So Mario took a bit of a detour and captured the Taifu, Lakitu, and the Snow Cheep Cheep, all while collecting the rest of the moons he needed, just like before. The Seaside, unfortunately, was pretty uneventful. In the middle of his moon collecting, all Mario had to do was capture the Gushin, but not for very long, because that's actually not the most useful capture for collecting moons here. That would be the Cheep Cheep. Mario had already captured one in the other water level, but it's so useful here, he just could not pass up doing it again. After using the fish to grab a bunch of moons, and also clipping out of bounds to close it out, this place was done too. Onwards to Luncheon. The beginning area here is pretty limited, so Mario saw nothing he could capture just yet. He went ahead and defeated Spewart, grabbed a whole lot of moons in the town, and jumped over to these platforms in the lava to capture a lava bubble. This could be used to get off this platform and also head into this sub-area, where there was a whole bunch of forks. Yeah, I think that's getting marked off. So after that room, Mario used the lava bubble to get back onto the main platforms, captured the Hammer Bro, or Pan Bro, same thing, to break open the cheese rocks and grab that story moon, and then climbed all the way to the top of the cliff to capture the meat. And that's good because it leads right to a multi-moon, so Mario just had to get one more moon, and he saved this one for the end because he had another idea. He warped right back over to the meat plateau to grab the Tall Mountains moon, and then jumped all the way around the back of the kingdom to get to where the fire piranha plants were. Now he could also throw a rock in their mouths and capture them as well. Now he was done with this place. Then of course there was the crash landing in Ruin Kingdom, but this dragon boss fight features a total of 0 captures, so yeah, moving on to Bowser's now. Very quickly into this place, he was able to capture a Pokio. That was very useful for climbing up this wall and grabbing the moon behind it, but that was almost all they needed for this kingdom. The first story moon had no captures around, and the second one just required another Pokio, so nothing new there. But after that moon, they could fly over to the shop island, and there happened to be a couple of Jizos right on the side of the building. That's helpful. Then surprisingly, that is all we can get for this place. Now it was just a matter of defeating a couple of Brutals, and once again using another Pokio to climb the rest of the kingdom. And come on, we don't even use a capture for defeating the mech anyway. But on the bright side, Mario did not have to collect any more moons. He didn't have to worry about any more as he finished off the last quarter of the capture list. And there would be quite a few things to capture in Moon Kingdom. Not on the moon itself, of course. No, all the captures lie in Moon Cave. But Mario thought of a more effective way to capture everything he could in there. First, he did Moon Cave Skip and grabbed the checkpoint at the top. That seemed a little counterintuitive, but then he entered the cave from the top. Of course, the fastest way to beat it is by doing it backwards. So he jumped from the top and soared all the way down to this platform, captured the charge and chuck, used the wire to go down a bit, made a super tight jump to capture the moai, took control of this bullet bill, which he had already captured before, but used him to get over to the bonsai bill, which he had not captured yet. And since the bonsai bill is so fast, Mario just flew all the way back to the starting area, captured the Bowser statue, and dropped down for the Parabones. And because he already got the checkpoint at the top, he could just warp right out. And that's not even it for this kingdom, because now Mario could head into the church for the final Bowser fight. Just like the first one, this fight does not feature any captures, but right after, Mario finds himself back in the moon's core and is able to capture Bowser to escape. He clawed his way all the way through the final obstacles and brought everyone to safety. Normally the story would end here, but it's not over yet. There's still a few more things that need to be captured. Some of them happen to be in Mushroom Kingdom. As soon as Mario got going, he rolled right over to the Knuckletech rematch tower, where he could obviously capture Knuckletech's fist, not to defeat him, just to mark it off. Then Mario could run over to the castle roof and jump to the top of it to capture Yoshi. You know we can't leave him out. And finally for this place, he went into a rocket sub-area and played some picture match. That was nice because it was a 2-for-1 deal. He could capture picture match parts for both Mario and the Goomba. Again, not to play the game, just because it's on the list. Mario just had 3 captures left, and all he had to do was revisit Metro to finish it off. Remember how earlier he had planned ahead and beat the story? Well, that was done because now he could break the moon rock, and because of that, now the letters were opened up. Right by there is the capturable taxi, and to finish it off, Mario just had to go back into the sewer, make his way back through to get to the power plant, and captured the Metro Kingdom puzzle piece. He had done it. All 52 captures in the game had been captured. Mario felt really satisfied with this. It really did make up for not being able to capture at all a little while ago, and Cappy got to live up to his full potential. Thank you, Princess Peach, for lifting this law, and thank you all for watching this video. Subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll see you all next time. Take care.